So today, we're going to dive into a really pivotal moment in early Islamic history, the changing of the Qibla, the direction of prayer. Now, this might sound like just, a simple logistical change, but it was so much more than that. It was this profound test of faith. It was a declaration of independence, and it was the very event that really forged the identity of a brand new community. Let's explore how this one single command reshaped a faith and its followers forever.
The whole story really kicks off with a question. But what's so fascinating here is that the Quran actually anticipates the criticism before it even happens. It foresees that people are going to mockingly ask, what on earth made them change their direction of prayer? This question right here immediately sets the stage for a divine explanation that's about to unfold. So, what's brilliant is how the Quran gets ahead of the whole controversy by addressing the critics head-on. It even gives a specific name to the kind of thinking that would question this command without trying to find any deeper wisdom.
You see, the term the Quran uses for these critics is safih, which basically means foolish. And this isn't just some random insult, The text connects this to an earlier verse that says only a safih would reject the tradition of Abraham. The message here is really profound. True foolishness isn't about asking why, but about questioning divine wisdom without even trying to understand it.
And the response? It completely flips the script. The point isn't where you face, east, west, Jerusalem, or Mecca. It doesn't matter. All directions belong to God. What truly matters is that you obey God's command. This was a radical move, shifting away from holiness being tied to a specific place to devotion being tied directly to the divine will. Okay, so this wasn't just some abstract theological debate. It was also a really practical and, frankly, dramatic test for this young community. The source material actually calls it a sadakat testi, which is a test of loyalty. The entire purpose was to sift through the community to really distinguish those who had true conviction from those who were just, going through the motions. And this verse just lays it all out crystal clear. The whole reason for the temporary Qibla is revealed. It was a filter designed specifically to see who would truly follow the messenger and who would just turn on their heels the moment things got challenging. This was their moment of truth. But just imagine the anxiety, right? You'd be thinking, wait, what about all the prayers we offered before? Were they just wasted? The Quran offers immediate reassurance. It says Allah will not let your faith go to waste. And commentators agree that the word faith, or iman, here is specifically talking about the prayers they offered toward Jerusalem. God is affirming that all their past devotion was accepted and totally secure. So, with the community tested and reassured, the new, permanent direction is established. And this roots the community in its own, unique history. There's a really beautiful personal detail in this command. The verse says, "We have certainly seen the turning of your face toward the sky." It acknowledges the prophet's deep, silent yearning to face the Kaaba, the house of his ancestor Abraham. So the command isn't just a directive. It's this loving fulfillment of a really heartfelt desire. So this move from Jerusalem to the Kaaba was huge. It was a symbolic return to the source. It shifted the community from a direction they shared with others to one that was uniquely tied to their own Abrahamic roots, forging a totally distinct identity.
3. That's how many times the command to turn towards the Kaaba is repeated in this short passage. Verses 144, 149, and 150 all say it again. The emphasis here makes it absolutely undeniably clear. This is the new direction. This decision is final. No going back.
Now, this new direction wasn't just about changing a spot on the map. Not at all. It was about defining the very character of the people who would face it. With this new direction came a new identity, Ummatan Wasata, a community of the middle way, balanced, moderate, and just. They were being designated as a model for all of humanity, tasked with avoiding extremes on either side and serving as witnesses to truth.
And this is where the story just gets incredible, connecting across centuries. The passage directly links this new community to a prayer made by the prophet Abraham himself. I mean, look at this table. Abraham's prayer for a messenger who would teach and purify his descendants is answered, point for point, in the description of this new community. This isn't just a new direction. It's the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy. So, after all the criticism, the test, and the new direction, what's the ultimate point? Where is all this leading? Well, the final verses bring it all home. The Quran says, look, stop arguing about the formalities. The real goal is to race to all that is good.
The direction you face is a unifying symbol, sure, but the real work is in your actions, in competing with one another in righteousness and good deeds.
At the end of the day, the physical Qibla is a means to an end. It's a symbol, a tool that unifies the community, focusing their bodies and their hearts on the true direction, a life that is oriented entirely towards God. And the passage ends with this magnificent, reciprocal relationship. Remember me, and I will remember you. Be grateful for this guidance, this identity, this prophet, and don't be ungrateful. It basically distills the entire purpose of faith into two core actions: remembrance and gratitude. So to just sum it all up, this single event accomplished so much. It established a clear physical separation. It built psychological resilience through a major test of faith. It forged a brand new identity as a balanced community. And it clarified the ultimate spiritual goal. This was truly the birth of a community. And that leaves us with a final thought. In a world that's just full of distractions and conflicting priorities, this 1,400-year-old story asks us a timeless question. Beyond all the daily rituals and formalities, what is the true direction that we are racing towards?